Hi everybody, welcome. This is Travis. You're joining Tpull's Corner. It's our own little corner of the Magic the Gathering universe, broadcasting on YouTube, fresh and new for your entertainment. This is day 3 of Evergreen month. This is where we focus on the key mechanics that Wizards of the Coast has used to define some of the great traits that their creatures have. And today's choice is Menace. So if you're new to Magic the Gathering, the definition is a creature with Menace can't be blocked except by 2 or more creatures. So this is a good trait to introduce on the battlefield. It's probably one that's not as well used as most of the others in the whole game. But it is getting a little bit more use with Kaldheim and Strixhaven expansions lately. And what we decided to do is ask the question, what happens if the majority of creatures in your deck all have Menace at the same time? What happens when you get down one creature after another and they always have Menace? What's that do to your opponent? So let's run through the decks real quick. We've got Bloodchief's Thirst. We always have to have some creature removal in there, right? Cling to Dust. This is good to get something out of the graveyard that may come back to haunt you otherwise. 1 Duress to remove a threat from their very hand. 1 Village Rites because the opponent always seems to have removal themselves, so it's good to foil that and get something out of it and get a little value. Cruel Cut to take care of some of the early stuff. Epic Downfall to exile a larger creature. And Feed the Swarm because we need something to deal with enchantments. Heartless Act. 1 Piper of the Swarm. Piper of the Swarm himself does not have Menace, but all the rats that he creates do have Menace. And if you have enough time and create 3 rats, you can sacrifice 3 of them and gain control of an opponent's target creature. 1 Sanctum of Stone Fangs, just to get you a little bit of life. 1 Scorching Dragonfire. 1 Wings of Hubris. The equipped creature can't be blocked the entire turn. This is to deal with flyers. We've got 2 copies of Bastion of Remembrance to make them pay for killing our creatures. Now we're starting to get into the creatures themselves that have the Menace. Blackbloom Rogue gets +3, so it becomes a 5/3 creature as long as the opponent has 8 or more cards in the graveyard. 2 Grimdancers, and you can choose to get Menace or you can choose Death Touch or Lifelink. We're going to try and make it practice if we can to actually choose Menace as a point, just for purposes of illustrating the effect in this game. Hunted Nightmare. This is a cheap one. It only costs 3 mana to get down. It's a 4/5 creature, but it does have a drawback. If your opponent has a creature as well, they get to put a Death Touch counter on a creature they control when you put down the Hunted Nightmare. So if you can, put this down when they got nothing, and that way it's just a cheap card for you. 1 Inevitable End. Sometimes you've got creatures that are indestructible, or they've got a counter on them, so you can't use Heartless Act. This is a really good way to get rid of them. Suffocating Fumes, in case you have to worry about Scoot Swarms or a bunch of 1/1 creatures. 2 copies of Underworld Dreams to hurt them for having to draw more cards. Frillscare Mentor. It's human where she doesn't have Menace herself, but she gets to put a Menace counter on any non-human creature that we also have control. She can pump up people with Menace. So if you have 3 or 4 Menace creatures out there, and suddenly all of them start getting +1/+1 turn after turn, that can really create an impressive army. Multicolor Sonorous Howlbonder, another human aware with 2/2. Okay, this kind of changes up everything for Menace, right? Each creature you control with Menace can't be blocked except by 3 or more creatures instead of 2. So it's like welcome to the next level of Menace. We have 2 copies of Crystalline Giant just because they can gain Menace themselves. We have 1 Extinction Event in case we run into too much trouble and the enemy's starting to overpower us, so we need to clear the board. 1 Locthwain Paladin. Here, if you spend at least 3 black mana to cast it, he also gets in with a +1/+1 counter. Nimana Skitter-Sneak. This is another one where the opponent has to have 8 or more cards in their graveyard in order to get the bonus. But this is when it's a human rogue. He actually gets the Menace when the opponent gets the 8 cards in their graveyard. So it doesn't start off with Menace, but can get it relatively quickly. 2 more enchantments, Revenge of the Ravens, so that if other creatures try and attack you, we get a life and they lose a life. Ferocious Tigorilla, and here we can, when they enter the battlefield, you can give them Trample or you can give them Menace. Again, we're going to try and do Menace if we can, unless it just makes total nonsense to do it. 2 copies of Tentative Connection to go ahead and take care of their creatures. This is a nice one because you notice the spell costs 3 less to cost if you control a creature with Menace already. So instead of saving up for 4 mana, you could cast this early on and just use 1 mana as long as one of our Menace creatures is already out and about. Elite Headhunter is a nice little 2/3 Menace Knight, but you can also sacrifice another creature or an artifact and deal 2 damage to either a target creature or a planeswalker. Cavern Whisperer is a mutate card. Make your opponent discard a card if you mutate on top of one of your own creatures, and it has Menace. Bone Pit Brute. Target creature gets +4 until end of turn when he enters. So this is I love this card, especially when I've got 2 or 3 other creatures as choices and I'm about to attack. And the rest is lands. So we'll go check out the overall statistics. Only 16 creatures really for right now, and 23 lands. Maybe it's a little light on lands, maybe it's a little light on creatures, so it did put a number of enchantments in there. But let's go ahead and see what happens. Let's take it out for a spin. Okay, did they give us enough lands to start with? I think so, because this is actually land 2, so really we're starting with 5 potential lands? That's a good way to get flooded out with land. But hopefully we'll just get some other spells for a change. It's good to start with a lot of land, actually. Now we are facing a Knight deck. Okay, this is working out nicely. I like getting Witch's Cauldron up front. I don't think they usually destroy that unless they've got spare spells. Now we just need to get enough mana with a creature down that we can take them and sacrifice the opponent's creature. Gross. Okay, there's our creature. They might not bother to use removal on it because the Fencing Ace can just take it out right now. So hopefully it stays on the board. No such luck. It's going to be 6 points unanswered for. I'll take that back. 12 points. Did they get a great opening hand or what? 1 creature, 1 enchantment, 1 removal, and 1 thing to buff things up. Okay, we're not going to wait because that's just too potentially devastating. They could kill us next turn entirely. We'll go ahead and make that. And Fencing Ace is only a 2 mana spell. You hate to have to use a removal card on a 2 mana spell, but they just have things too good. Alright, we already need lifelink, don't we? Lifelink and Menace. Okay, we don't have enough mana to sacrifice the opponent's creature at the same time, so we need to wait till next turn. Yeah, you'd like to make that trade. I don't think so. You can even pump up your Shepherd if you want. I don't think you can kill me in 1 turn. There we go. And you know, we're going to do something different than we were planning on. We're just going to kill both of y'all. Take that. I'll go get some of my life back. Yeah, you can top deck all you want. Let me go get my other creature back. Thank you. I'll go recover that life right away. Oh, you'd like to be able to pump your guys up, wouldn't you? Okay, this is where the surprise comes in. I'll take you. I will sacrifice you. We'll get a life and draw a card. We'll go ahead and play that card. And we'll go get more. You know what? I'm just going to go all in. With the last can I'm going to get, you can do whatever you want with your fencing ace. We're just going to concentrate on taking you down quickly. And this is the drawback when you're facing Menace. If I get the slightest advantage and you don't have that second defender, it kind of doesn't matter what you do. Pretty much toast. We didn't want to commit to everything in case they had a board wipe, and we'd still have some ammo to do stuff later. But that is a beautiful first outing for the Menace deck to show you what the potential power can be on it. Okay, 3 lands and both colors available. That's an okay start. Oh, he has a lot of cards. And the scrying begins. We won't tip them off until we have to, that we have red. Okay, that's perfect. Because he doesn't have a creature down right now, so he doesn't get advantage of the death touch counter from that. Means I just got a cheap 4/5 creature down. Who has Menace? Never mind. He's dead. So you can tap anything, huh? I want to see what else he has, but he's tapped out now. Let's just get you out of there. I don't need you tapping down my Menace creatures. I'm gonna forego Menace on this one. I think I'm gonna need both Death Touch and Lifelink. And I might need that as land. Another cat. Yep. Figured we were going to lose you now. Touch takes out the bigger creature. Lifelink cancels out some of the damage we're about to take. Come on, let me cast my spell, please. Thank you. We'll see if he wants to start pummeling me despite the losses, or if he's got things to pump up his cats. Nothing, huh? Nothing he wants to admit to. Alright, let's keep building. Really? Take this. I'm going to sit there and do nothing. We'll make that work in my favor. Okay, so you can do some stuff with 160 cards. And that means this guy's probably toast too. But we can't really just sit around waiting, hoping that he doesn't draw a card. Vigilance. That's a good start. Another chariot. Interesting. I'm starting to sense a pattern. Did you make a cat deck? Let's go ahead and give this guy Menace now. Get rid of a card, please. We would love for you to attack with Elsa's Chariot again. It'll mean another cat, but at least we get rid of the chariot. Let's see. So draw 2 cards from the target now, huh? Well, if your deck's full of creatures like that, I can see you ain't got a deck with 160 cards. That's probably to prevent a Heartless Act. I think he wants the cat. He's willing to lose it if he loses the cat. As long as he gets another cat, I should say. He's starting a collection. Alright. We'll do it. You can draw you 2 cards. We are not letting him stay around. Okay, what do I do? Get Menace on top of my Menace? Figures. He can easily do about 14 points of damage to me at least before he runs out of cats if he just wants to bum rush me the entire time. Okay, let's see. Every time that he mutates, he gets more, right? Okay. We'll see how many other creatures you want to sacrifice from that. Okay, Trample or Menace? Menace. Or a Menace deck. What did I get? I got Reach. Yeah, it's coming in handy. Is it worth you? Yeah, okay. Sacrifice the lessers to keep the big guy. Alright. We're all just reduced to top decking now. Yeah, you can keep it. Let's see. Death Touch and Lifelink again. I've got 3 other creatures with that. Let's see. Lifelink is good. I would like some Hexproof and Flight at this point. Or Death Touch and First Strike together. You didn't want to keep doing that. I was going to let you through each time. You get 3 life back. Don't need land right now. Okay, Death Touch is good. He's going to gain more life than I can offset with the Underworld Dreams between Daxos and Inspiring Commander. At this point, I could really use a removal card. Another land. There we go. Okay. You only got one with reach, right? None of these others have reach, is that correct? Okay. We're doing it. In case he has some of the cultist leaders that can create angels when his life is high enough, we need to really get his life below 27. What is that? 3 lands in a row? Hexproof, thank you. Really? That's a mistake. Do you have something to lock those up? The 4th land in a row? You have reach if you wanted to get a bigger spider back. You could have blocked him last turn. You did that wrong. You can attack me with just about everybody you have now, and I probably just won't block you at all. If you can't get rid of Revenge of the Ravens, it's gonna kill you. At this point, the only way you can get rid of Cavern Whisperer is probably with a board wipe. Pump up your life. And make this a very long game. Does he have a big enough army? Ah, he got one of me. Nice. I think he took out the wrong creature. This is the one he needs. He's got lifelink and vigilance, which is great. There we go. Okay, I've got First Strike and Death Touch, though. Which means I can take out any one single creature that comes my way. And yet another land. At the rate that this is going, this guy's probably got every cheap green and white creature in the entire existence of the game hidden in his hand cards. He's got to overload Magic servers before we're done. Nobody else has indestructible, so nobody else can withstand the first striking death touch, the immediate death from this combination. However, there you go. Pump up your own guy, your own indestructible guy. Maybe you can't give him lifelink. But if you pump him up enough, you should be able to get me. Because I can't block and lose my Crystalline Giant. It looks like he's figured it out. And the problem is if I get Extinction Event, this guy is odd. There's got a lot of other odds here. If I get rid of all the evens, that will clear the board a lot. Would it be enough? Odd. 1, 2, 3. Nope, there's another odd. If I choose odd, it would get rid of Helliot at this point, but then every other creature could come and kill me. This is shaping up to be an epic battle. How many times have you seen an entire army held at bay by one enchantment and one creature? I think if I get the right card out of my deck, I can make him rage quit. I'm trying to remember if I have another epic downfall in my deck or not. Oh yeah, he could be a problem too. If he gets big enough. Not really. Not as long as I have him. I can't believe all these cards and there's not another disenchant by now. Did I mention how the idea of Menace is that since you need 2 blockers for every attacker, you should be able to get through your opponent's forces with relative ease. You can do whatever you want with everybody else. Alright, I'm going to block with him. Otherwise, we're done in 4 more turns. If I take control of him, can I sacrifice him enough if I have a sacrifice spell? Or does it automatically turn him back into the enchantment? Are you seriously? Okay, he's got a couple of blockers. Sorry, buddy. I needed both of the blockers to have more than 5 health points. If you'd have blocked with... Let me show you. If you blocked with the 5/7 guy and with the spider, I would have been able to kill one, but the other would have been able to strike back. So technically, it wasn't the brightest idea for me to attack. Because I could have lost the whole kit and caboodle right there. But as it is, with the way he's pumping them up, I've only got 2 or 3 turns left. Do you have a Doomscar? If you had a Doomscar, you know, it would kill this guy. I mean, it would kill everyone else, but you would finally get rid of this guy. Is that 27 other creatures he has that I'm holding at bay with 1 creature? I don't care if I lose this battle. I think I'm going to keep this video. This is kind of interesting. I don't know how exciting it's going to be. That could kill some creatures, but it doesn't really matter at this point. Give me something else. Okay. What can we get rid of with this card? Let's get rid of something. That gives me trouble. Well, he has enough cards. If he's got enough creatures in the deck, he could just pump Elliot up until he's got about a 45 power. Then that would take care of everything. Feed the bear. Gonna be here a while. He's realizing some of his cards aren't the greatest anymore either. Might as well start cycling to get something better yourself. I don't think he's too concerned with the underworld dreams these days. Probably trying to fish down for another thing to get rid of enchantments. He keeps looking at all of his creatures' cards. I'm not sure what he's looking for at this point. Maybe he's trying to figure out how many are going to get pumped up. He's trying to do the math to figure out what he needs to counter the 50 health that I have, plus the life gain that I'm going to get from however many creatures attack. Okay, we don't have a blocker. There comes a big chunk. Ouch. That is not helpful at this stage of the game. Maybe it would be if I get a possession spell next turn, assuming I survive that long. I do actually have a storm damage spell that does 4 points of damage, so I could get rid of everybody except 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 creatures. There we go. That's the whole ball of wax right there. There was a chance that I could have won this if I hadn't drawn 6 lands in a row. I still got the vast majority of my deck I haven't gotten to because I drew so many lands. Ugin. Yeah. You need Ugin because that's, yeah. It was not enough. You wanna do the exile? You wanna do the exile and get rid of him? Oh, 3 damage. You know what? Let's just see what our next card's worth.
Consider this a warning.
Not helpful cards at this stage. What's my negative life going to be now? $73 to negative 54. Lovely. That's one for the record books. Okay, let's see what opponent they've sent into my corner. Hodor. That seems like the right balance of lands and spells. We'll take it. Nimana can take a bit of time before it gets up to snuff. We need to fill the opponent's graveyard with 8 cards first. They get a land. Is it a land or it's a creature? Stop, you're both right. Okay, we can't use Heartless Act on that, so we'll just put that spell out for now. they're not really interested in attacking, are they? Let's see, we need a second black source. Put down Grimdancer. We'll give it Menace and Death Touch. That's a disgusting creature. Regular creatures can't do a bit of damage to him, and he's got Rapid Bite. Which is not good, but thankfully we do have some removal ready. And we're going to have to use it now. Unfortunately, that means we can't do anything else this turn. So the initiative is kind of on them, as they put out yet another big threat. How do we want to do this? I guess let's start with this enchantment, because that way we'll have a chump blocker who gains life, to sort of offset things, and that way it'll be in place for the other creatures in case we lose them to removal. Ugh, that's a disgusting development. He doesn't have trample, so I guess we got to save our chump blocker for the 24/24 spider. And we're getting flooded out by land? That is gross. Okay, chump blocker after chump blocker it is then. Until we get a nice removal spell. Maybe the threats are gone for a while. They're top decking now already. Okay. You attack with your 24/24 creature, and you still lose a life. I like that. Ooh, and I like that if only I had some way to sacrifice him. Menace or Trample, does it matter? It's a Menace deck. We'll take the Menace. Okay. We want to save Ferocious Tigorilla because he's got Menace, and then hopefully we have some way to sacrifice our opponent's creature. Or we just use him to attack and kill. Not just going to pick up the one creature I wanted to save. We may not be able to wait for the perfect spell. If he was smart, he'd just attack with all those other creatures. Because I have to block the 24/24. He'd be able to get some extra damage in. Maybe he's thinking about it. Is that why we're taking so long here? There are some other good Menace cards now. Menace has been kind of going under the radar a lot of the time, but the recent Kaldheim and Strixhaven expansions did add some good Menace cards. I don't have them in here because the September rotation is coming up, and we're going to lose some of the older cards, so I've only been playing on the arena for a little over maybe a year now, and I'm going to have to say goodbye to some of these cards already. I'm not ready to. I'm one of the few people who's probably not ready for September rotation. But we'll probably revisit decks like this after the rotation and see what new goodies we can provide with this threat and add in the Kaldheim and Strixhaven cards. Okay, I don't have good odds of drawing the card that I really need. But there are other answers besides the couple of cards that I want. What are we... did we freeze? Or are we just waiting on the opponent? We're just waiting on the opponent. Cling to Dust is not the card I was looking for. Okay, so new plan. We're going to hope that he attacks with everybody. Because then I can use my Tentative Connection next turn to take his spider and kill him. I'm not sure. You don't have any cards. What are you going to do? You going to tap your guy for mana? Okay. Let's go get rid of that card. And let me draw another card. Thank you. Oh no, wait, I got 3 life from that. I did that wrong. I really wanted to draw another card. If he has another rapid bite, the game's pretty much over. Land! It's about time. Five, 6, 27, 28. I've got 29. So if he has no way to pump it up, maybe he'll, if I don't put a creature out, maybe he'll try and attack me with everybody just to get me down to 1 life. What do we think? Let's see what happens when we draw a card. We have to get rid of our graveyard, which is fine. Now I can't cast anything even if I wanted to. If he has, well, he's got that, it has haste, right? So I did that wrong. I should have put Cavern Whisperer down anyway. Gave him a creature to block. Okay, so what can we do? If I use all of my black, and that is beautiful, ladies and gentlemen. They probably did not expect that. Alright, I think I've got time for one more battle. Only 2 lands, but we've got both of the colors, and we do have a turn 2 play. And I like the idea of pumping these up. We don't need to introduce the red just yet. Maybe you'll think we're an all-black deck for a second. You never know how that affects people's thinking. That surprise won't last too long. He might have some counter spells, so we actually kind of want to let him reveal his hand, and if he wants to sit there and do nothing, we'll just get a life. We got a mutate deck. Mutate it is. Okay, so let's go ahead and put down these one after the other, and that'll offset the damage we're undoubtedly going to start taking. Lifelink, yep, that was a good play. One of those enchantments isn't enough, but with the lifelinker out, we can't let his lifelink offset all of the losses from our Revenge of Ravens every time. So, let's introduce something else into the mix there. If he wants to waste a spell on a 1/1 no mana chump blocker, that's okay by me too. Before we use our removal, I kind of want to make him put something more impressive down. And he's probably got the octopus that he can fly. No, he doesn't have the octopus? Why would you attack with a 0-2 egg if it was going to cost you life? Well, if you want to do that, go right ahead, buddy. Here, we'll double it. Hit me with your 0-2 egg again. I'm not sure if he's looking at his life total, but it's 23 to 13 now. Is that enough for me to use my removal spell already? They both got Death Touch, right? Let's put down a creature and see what happens. We were at 20 for life, so we've got a little bit of room to breathe here. He might just remove him. He might decide not to attack and just block. Okay. So that means you're going to attack me, right? You're going to take 4 more damage. I like that. You know why? So I'm going to put this guy down. This spell only costs 1. I didn't technically need to put the creature down because I'm just going to take him, but that's going to be game. And we wouldn't have been able to do that without a creature with mana on the board. And that's how you take advantage of the different cards that have the keyword Menace in them. And that didn't take too long, so I think that's a great way to end our segment on Menace. Hopefully you learned enough about how the mechanic worked and how the other additional cards along with it. Maybe another time we'll get to use this Sonorous Howlbonder in the way that he was meant to be used and really mess up the enemy and confuse him. But hope you enjoyed it. If you did, hit the like button or hit the subscribe button. We're going to put down a new video tomorrow on a different keyword mechanic. We'll make that a surprise for now. Or maybe I'll just spoil it. I'll spoil it. I think I'm planning on First Strike. Anyway, have a good night. Thanks, guys.